Nothing Phone 2A. I got a comment yesterday. Someone said there's a new sheriff in town, and that's quite a bit true because there is a new sheriff in town in terms of the budget arena. Last year, I purchased my very first Nothing Phone, which was the Nothing Phone 2, and it was pretty incredible. And right away, you can tell the Nothing Phone 2 is the more premium phone, and it feels that way. But the Nothing 2A still represents a really good deal for the money. If you didn't want to pay or go all out for a Nothing Phone device, you have a nice offering. Now, let's go ahead and begin with a boot up test in 3, 2, and we're going to go here at the same time. Now, the Nothing Phone 2A has a MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Pro CPU. That's a TSMC 4nm design, 12 gigs of RAM plus an 8 gig of RAM booster. The Nothing Phone 2 has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, so not the 8 Gen 2 or 8 Gen 3, so it's a little bit of an older CPU, but it's still more flagship, so it did boot up faster. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how fast the Nothing Phone 2A unlocks. There's my face right in. You can also skip that swipe to unlock, and then on the fingerprint, there it goes right there. Same over here. You can just kind of quickly swipe to unlock. That face unlock is not quite as secure though, so do keep that in mind. Use the fingerprint if you're looking for ultimate security. And you'll see that the Nothing Phone 2A keeps the same fingerprint sensor. You can see the unlock speed is about the same there. So you're getting kind of like that same flagship looking experience with the in-display fingerprint, and they both unlock at about the same time. So I really quite like that. It's pretty immediately noticeable though, the aluminum rails there on the Nothing Phone 2 versus the plastic ones here on the 2A. But I kind of like that the plastic ones make the phone lighter, and I like these black buttons. I think it's quite a bit unique by comparison to the regular 2. Now, in terms of the general UI, Nothing has really been doing a great job with optimization, and that's one of the reasons why I really gave this a lot of praise last year with the 2. For a phone that just came out, like this brand is really early, they're not playing around. You'll see 12 gigs of RAM plus 8 gig of RAM booster, and this is on the Nothing Phone 2.5.3. But overall, generally speaking, I think when it first boots up, it's a little bit slower than the 2, but overall, once it's, turned on and stuff, it pretty much runs the software essentially the same. So no real difference right there. And that's something you can even tell on like a Samsung phone versus a Samsung S phone. You'll see a difference in the general UI, even is not as smooth as like an S phone from an A phone. But here on the Nothing series, the 2 and the 2A in terms of their general experience is pretty much identical. There's also an enhancement to the 2A that's not on the 2, and that is a AI-based wallpaper studio. This is because of this new chip has the ability to do some AI stuff. So that's just something I wanted to mention for the 2A. Okay, so here we are at the app test. I am on the dark theme for the Nothing Phone 2 and the light theme for the the 2A. That's how you can distinguish them. Let's go into calendar. You can see basically the same. Let's go into calculator. I think the 2A was slower there. Let's go into clock. Yeah, a little faster there for the 2. I was really kind of like analyzing these yesterday though, and kind of feeling them out, and really they don't feel that much difference besides the body. Like the aluminum feels a little nicer, but the back plates kind of feel the same. That was on the left. I think the 2's back plate does have a little bit more attention to detail, more glyph lights. But you can see once in these applications, this is what I love about these Nothing phones. They're super fast and they have really nice animations, but also what I love about this 2A is that it's half the price, and for daily usage, it's looking like you're going to get nearly the same as the 2. Let's go over here, and I think that was Nothing's goal maybe. Maybe that was the goal for them to give you a really great smooth experience. Now the scrolling a little choppier there on the left on Twitter than the 2, so that's something noticeable. Let's go into Instagram. And we'll go over here to my profile, and you can see just kind of launching into these things, zooming, pretty much not going to be a big deal of difference. And let's go ahead and come out of there. We'll go into eBay, 3, 2, go. You'll see faster there on the right. There we go. And remember to weigh your expectations. You'll see right here, on the right, just by a little. Weigh your expectations, because you aren't paying the same as somebody buying a Nothing Phone 2. So, I mean, to be expecting Nothing Phone 2 performance on a phone that costs half the price, it's kind of asking for a lot. So what I'm trying to say is, if the 2A is a little bit slower, I don't really care. That's the point. You'll see right here. Let's go to Jetpack Joyride. I do think the whites are very white on the 2A, and I really love that. They're like super white, so they did really good on the whites on the screen. And you'll see over there, pretty good performance there on both. Let me go ahead and head up out of here. All right, so let's head into Temple Run 2, 3, 2, and go, and see which one can get there first. Now, again, they do turn on these game modes for this test. You can see, there we go with the Nothing Phone 2, and now the 2A. Again, only a hair behind. But see, here's the thing. While the Nothing Phone 2 does load things quicker, once in, you're not going to care. I think if you are heavier gaming, though, the frame rates are going to be much better on the 2. But keep in mind, though, that one thing that a lot of budget phones don't do really well is just general overall performance, like kind of like navigating the phone day to day, like stutters and little hiccups here and there. That's generally where you can kind of see a difference. But they did a good job with the 2A. You don't really notice too many stutters and hiccups, and that's what is pretty impressive about this phone. But you can see now the Nothing Phone 2 showing it's more powerful. Not that this wasn't expected, it was pretty much expected. But either way you go, Nothing's offering you a nice option on either of these. I do want to see the Nothing Phone 3. I'm really excited for that. Let's go to Dead Trigger 2. Maybe they'll bring some AI features to that, as well as even a more faster chip on the next one. And not that the Nothing Phone 2 is slow at all. It's not slow at all. But I would like to see like a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 or a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 on the next one. Let's go into Free Fire. But what's really cool is that you get like these updates like pretty regularly on these Nothing phones. The team really focuses in on optimization, which is something, you know, other brands do it too, but they just take longer to get those out. Let's go into PUBG Mobile. And I'm not pointing out any brands. If you think I'm pointing out somebody specifically, I'm not. Android has tons of brands. We're now on PUBG, and here's where the 2 shines, but also the 2 will shine in the actual gaming performance as well. When you are actually pushing it a little bit harder, this is the phone you want. But it's not like you can't play on here. You can play on here. If this is not in your budget, this is in your budget. You can play on the 2A, no problems. Let's go into Geekbench 6. So, trying to be as fair as possible. And we go over here. Nothing Phone 2. Nothing Phone 2 a little bit. And speed test. See Nothing Phone 2 a little bit. So overall, the Nothing Phone 2 did win it out in pretty much a lot of the apps, but in generally just opening it, the animations look pretty similar. They launch pretty close. You just get a hair more wait time on you get a little bit more wait time on the games and the heavier stuff. But the RAM booster should make this RAM management pretty close though on both. So let's go ahead and check that out. All right, so looking at the Nothing Phone 2, let's go ahead and see how it looks. This impressed me in the yesterday's video against the Galaxy A54. Just felt smoother than that phone. I'm excited to see how it performs against some other mid-rangers, or this is not really mid-ranger, budget phones. Apple really needs to bring out a budget phone as well, like the new SE or something. Let's go over here. You'll see just that double swipe delays us a little. And you can see holding everything very nicely. This is like what I love about this. You don't really expect this to hold these applications, to hold all these things natively in the background on a phone of this price category. Also, these Nothing phones have this little pop view feature and split screen. So you can do this like little pop view. Like if you're doing 2 things, and you could pop this app right back into the frame or bring it out. So they got that nice little multitasking feature as well. So I do like that. about these Nothing phones as well. Let's take a look at the 2 in the RAM management. Okay, so here we are with the 2. I expect this to be even better. Let's go ahead and take a look. Snappy as always. So yeah, you can definitely feel a nicer look for sure on the 2. This is more up my style. This is what I like. My personal bias is I'm gonna go with the flagship, but it's not like drastic, but it's definitely noticeable. So they definitely didn't make their budget phone faster than their more premium phone, but they did a good job at making it pretty close, and at least kind of like up there with a similar experience for less money. All right, so our final Geekbench scores are in, and the Nothing Phone 2 is a good bit higher on the single core, but not drastically. It is a drastic bump in the multi. So I do think if you are gaming, pushing the phone, go with the 2. But I think if you're just like, I just need a daily smartphone, I love what Nothing's doing, I want a phone from Nothing, but I don't want to pay $700, the 2A is going to be your option. Okay, so here we go. We have the 2A with 1156 and about 7 FPS. This is the same score we got against the other one, the A54. Beat that phone. Obviously not going to beat the 2. The 2 gets about 16 frames a second and 2724. So a pretty good increase in performance on the Nothing Phone 2 over there, over the 2A. So the 2A can still actually game. It has the Hyper engine, which keeps the frame rate smooth during gaming. But the 2 might give you definitely a little bit more better gaming performance. But you gotta ask yourself, how heavy of the games are you playing? And even if you are playing games, I've already been testing them. You can run them just fine. It doesn't really stutter too much on the Nothing Phone 2A, regardless of the benchmarks. So pretty good there. So here's a video rendering test. We have a 4K 7-minute clip. We're gonna go ahead and save these. They're about 2047 megabytes a piece, 2042 on the 2A. But if the Nothing Phone 2 is substantially faster, we're gonna see here in the video rendering conversion. So I'll be back when they are done. Okay, and the Nothing Phone 2 is done, and we're only at 54% of the finish on the 2A, which I think is actually acceptable, because guess what? The 2A is 50% cheaper than the Nothing Phone 2. So you gotta weigh your expectations. You don't buy a $20,000 car expecting a $40,000 car. You don't buy a $100 pair of shoes expecting, or a $50 pair of shoes expecting a $150 pair of shoe quality. You just don't get that in any product. So I think this is totally fair that it's giving you 50%. It's maybe a little bit more. It's more like 45% less performance on this video render, but still it's acceptable. It'll still do the job, and it's not taking that long. It's just not as fast as the 2. That's just all there is to it. And so just a couple minutes later, maybe not even about a couple minutes later, the 2A is done. So yeah, it's definitely faster to render on a Nothing Phone 2. It's faster to game on a Nothing Phone 2, as if you didn't expect that already, but that is the case. So let's go ahead and just do a quick internet test here. You'll see, we'll go to Nothing's website, and you'll see a little bit faster there on the right. And if we go ahead and scroll, not a big difference. Let's learn more about the 2A, the newest phone from Nothing. And you'll see faster to load up the page on the right. And overall, the scrolling a little bit better on the right as well. So let's go to yahoo.com here in 3, 2, go. And you can see a pretty similar experience, both scrolling very well. And of course, scrolling is going to be dependent on how fast things load. Is going to be dependent on how well that website is optimized, how many ads it has, and your network as well. Okay, so we are here in Keep Notes. I just want to show you that the keyboard launch is very quick on both, but also the haptics are nice as well. You hear those haptics? You see them haptics though? They're very nice. You know what? Let me bring the mic closer to the actual haptics. You're gonna hear how good these sound. They not only sound really good, they feel very good. So both are very good in haptics as well. So let's see if the 2A can pull in similar download speeds as the Nothing Phone 2. Yesterday it did incredibly well. Today looking even better. Wow, 800 down. This video better upload pretty quickly today with them kind of speeds. Although those are down, that's not the upload. But I should be able to download apps pretty fast with that kind of download. Wouldn't you say? 23, 24. Oh, that's decent. Let's see how we do over here. Yeah, my download speeds are definitely destroying my upload. Wow, Nothing Phone 2 not pulling in better download speeds with the same server. So the Nothing Phone 2A win it out there when it comes to the download. And this is the same exact Wi-Fi network. There is no difference. So don't come at me, oh, they're on different networks. No, they're not. On the same exact network, the same exact server for this test right here. Lastly, let me show you how fast and smooth those cameras are in this camera speed. So let's go. 3, 2, go. The Nothing Phone 2 faster there. 3, 2, go. So the Nothing Phone 2 is good, a little bit faster there for sure. I actually think it's enough faster that you might, on a quick shot, miss the shot on the 2A by comparison to the, see, because you can already take the photo before that 2A gets in. So if you rely on pure raw performance, quick speed stuff, you'll want the 2. It's definitely been showing that here in this video. You can see going through the cameras. Looks like the 2 actually chops a little bit more when going to that wide angle. I'm not sure why that is, but overall they do pretty solid. Let's go ahead and take a look at their shutter. See if there's any lag there. Nope. I think the 2, nope, they're about the same. Wrapping it up, the results here were just about what I expected. The Nothing Phone 2A is the new budget phone. It definitely has less performance. It definitely has not nearly as much speed as the 2, but that wasn't the point. It still has a nice design that's pretty reminiscent of the 2 with a different camera design, unique looks here, a little bit less glyph lights, but they made some cuts because this is to get it at a lower price. At the end of the day though, the software is pretty smooth for the money, and I think it's a great offering for those of you looking for a substantially cheaper Nothing Phone 2. Nothing Phone 2 remains the fastest Nothing Phone out right now and did a really good job in this video, but I'm still looking forward to a Nothing Phone 3 with a faster CPU and maybe 16 gigs of RAM. That would be nice as well. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.